morning.
Yes.
Good, how are you?
Morning after the night before.
Oh, tell me. Tell me. One of them will, guaranteed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just quickly tidying up on the squad in terms of fitness-wise over the weekend. Obviously, Ollie March came off. I know we spoke to everyone last night, but how's the rest of the squad looking over the weekend?
Well, at this moment, the only one that we know that definitely won't make it is Pascal. So we've known that for a little while. We'll assess Solly this morning. The good news is that he felt, although he felt his calf, felt it just tighten a little bit. It certainly doesn't feel like a pull. So we'll assess him this morning, see how he is, and we're hoping everybody else will be okay.
Jürgen Locadia wasn't involved last night, is he?
Yeah, we just felt another one just felt his calf very slightly yesterday, so we decided not to take the risk. We're hoping he's going to train this morning. That being the case, then of course that would have him being available as well.
I know the attention's been on the Premier League. Now you can allow yourself to focus on this semi-final. How much are you and the team relishing this opportunity?
Well, we know how big an opportunity is. That it's not only for the players, but of course for the club. And it certainly hasn't been difficult for me to separate the two, and it hasn't because we know how big this Premier League is for us, and particularly with the games that we had, there's a lot of planning that had to go into a performance last night, and one that we knew was going to be a very, very difficult game. So it's hard really, it's not so hard to concentrate on one at a time. But we know what a big occasion Saturday is, and one thing that we've always stressed to the players, and this is going through the rounds, is that there are some very good players that never get the opportunity to get to a final, and some not even to a semi-final. So what they have got to do is make the most of it and try and put in a performance, irrespective of any result, that they can be proud of.
And what about the opposition? I mean, whatever they make changes, it's still a very strong side. Arguably the toughest challenge in Europe at the moment.
Yes, I think it is. I think they made 7 changes last night and still had, I think, 26 shots at goal and so, and close to 80% possession. That is the challenge. At this moment, they are one, if not the best team in the world, with an array of players that are top players, and the reason why they're top players is that they're not only technically gifted, but they're a fit side, and they're a very, very motivated side. Hence, the reason why they're going for all 4 trophies. They're an exceptional squad of players at the moment, and that, of course, makes the challenge even bigger.
What will your message to your players be? Will it be, obviously the focus is on the opposition, but is it also about dealing with the occasion as well?
No, I think the occasion will take care of itself, and we certainly won't have to motivate anybody to want to run harder, to try and do as well as they can, try and put in a good performance. So motivation most definitely won't be a problem. The problem will be, of course, the quality that we're up against, and how and what will be the best opportunities for us to be able to stay in the game. And again, the message to the players will be is to give everything, irrespective of what a result is. Come away and be proud of a performance by the team and an individual performance.
And just how much have you made of the support that the fans, over 30,000 heading up to Wembley, what have you made of the reaction, the response from the supporters ahead of this?
Well, they've been outstanding, and they were outstanding last night, and I think what they did last night, I think they appreciated what a difficult task it is, and for good periods we were in the game, and I think they appreciate it, and I think whatever a result on Saturday, I think they will be exactly the same way. I think it's an appreciation of a team and a group of players that have got to this stage. They understand, how difficult the game will be, and of course it's something that doesn't happen too often, particularly for a club like ourselves, and I think they'll make the most of it, irrespective of what any result will be.
What will it mean to you, Chris Hughton, personally, I suppose? Great affiliation with the FA Cup, of course. What does Saturday mean to you?
Well, as a manager or a coach, you want to play at the highest level, and you want to, to reach the latter stages of cup competitions, and unless you are a top six manager, that can be very difficult. So yes, something that I shall be very proud of. How much I shall enjoy the day will be, of course, down to a team performance, and a performance that as I say, that I can be proud of a group of lads that have given everything.
Chris, hello. If I can just start with a more general question. We're asking managers today about the appalling scenes that we saw in the Juventus game in midweek, and in particular, more so the reaction afterwards from Max Allegri and Leonardo Bonucci. What's your opinion on what we saw in that game and then afterwards as well?
Well, certainly disgusted by the reaction of a crowd towards an individual. Am I surprised? I think we've probably got to the stage now where there aren't too many surprises in the game, and it's something. And I think probably with the coverage that we have now of all the games throughout Europe, we have seen it more. But I think it's disgusting. There is absolute no doubt that that there have to be stricter penalties, because this is so clear, so obvious for everybody to see. So it's not a question of maybe somewhere where you're not sure of a reaction of the crowd, you're not sure what they're saying. Everybody is sure. So it can only be about the penalties that the perpetrators, individuals, the clubs, and what I have heard since is about the possibility of teams walking off, referee having a bigger influence. All of them things have to be spoken about. And for anybody that makes comments afterwards, and of course I did hear some of the comments afterwards, they have to have the opportunity to explain them comments. And I think most of what I've heard is very much unacceptable.
You mentioned their players coming off. That issue does tend to crop up again and again. Is that something that you would advocate?
I think it has to come up, because ultimately the responsibility is down to the authorities. So if the authorities are not going to come down on stricter penalties, whether that's teams playing behind closed doors, whether that's increasing some of the very minimal fines that we have seen. I mean, really severe fines. If they are not, then it has to be taken out of their hands. And of course, I think what you possibly might see is that because it's something that's recurring time and time again, is that the players themselves, possibly might end up having a bigger say and a bigger voice.
Thank you. And VAR is going to be a big issue this weekend. And we now know that replays will be shown in the stadium. Is that going to be a positive, so fans can see what's going on, how the decisions are being made, and not so much fans but also you as well?
That I don't know. I'm personally at this moment I'm not so much for that. I am for VAR. I probably wasn't, but I, like a lot of us in this position, I think have been persuaded, because one, we know it's going to come in. I've been down to the studios and seen it in action, and I think it's just about an adjustment for our game, and I ultimately think it will be good for the game. How far we go on that one is, I think, is still to be determined, and what I think we don't want to get to a position where it becomes more and more. So we're showing more to the supporters. Then what is at this moment is clear and obvious becomes the next phases and the next phases. I think once it's in, which is of course next season, then I think we need to be clear. And if it expands more than that, I don't think the expansion needs to be that great. But probably as regards what we show the supporters, then I'm probably not so much in favour of that.
Yeah, so it could end up causing more debate in that sense if a decision is overturned and it's shown on the big screen. It will have an impact on the atmosphere in the stadium. Well,
I think what the supporters need to see is that firstly there is a decision to be made. Okay, and I think what happens at the moment is that you have a referee that is going through the structure of making a decision surrounded by players. I think for me the most important thing is to make sure almost if there was a 10-metre line, the same way that we do it for free kicks, where the players are away from the referee. I think everybody in the stadium at that moment can see that there's a decision to be made, and I think it would be no harm for that to go up on the screen. Once that decision is made, it goes up on the screen what that decision is, and we move on. And at this moment, I think that's enough.
And after last night, there's been a lot of buzz around Callum Hudson-Odoi, and not only him, but also Phil Foden, who made his first Premier League start. He's already come up against Phil this season, and potentially might be involved at the weekend. Two 18-year-olds, two great talents, two English talents. Who do you think's got the most potential out of those two?
Well, the obvious answer to that one is both. They're both outstanding players playing in outstanding teams with outstanding squads and outstanding managers, and managers that are managing them, very, very well. And there's always a lot of talk about, when a player is ready to be in the team. Well, the individuals that know them the best are the coaches that work with them day and day out, and I think they will harness their careers in the best way for them. But two outstanding prospects in outstanding squads at the moment.
And you mentioned City being one of the best teams in Europe, if not the world. Does it give you then any kind of advantage if someone like Sergio Aguero is missing, or they might have an issue at left back? Can you take any advantage from that?
Probably the answer is no, because of the quality that they've got. But that's not taking away anything from an Aguero who, if we're talking about world-class players and best players in the world, there's no doubt he is one of the best number 9s in the world that has consistently done it, and we're fortunate as a league to have had him applying his trade here, of course, for a number of years. So probably the answer is no, because of the squad that they've got, but certainly not taken away from say what an outstanding individual he is.
And just finally from me, in a one-off cup game, how do you set up against Manchester City? Do you try and contain and nick one in the last half an hour, or do you try and go toe-to-toe? Would that be foolish? Well,
I think it's foolish to go toe-to-toe, and I'm certainly not embarrassed to say that you have to be able to try and contain them. They have too many options. If you feel that you can take the game to them, play a very open game. I say they have so many strategies that can open you up, and that starts with a goalkeeper that can play a pass from some 60-70 yards. So no, the important thing is that we stay in the game. Nobody knows at this moment how the game will pan out. We of course would want to start well in whichever way that one is, because the last thing you need is, of course, to go into a game like this and you're very quickly out of the game. So I think you need to stay in the game, but if we were to be concentrated, determined in what we want to do, have a good structure about us, and of course you're reliant on City having not one of their better days. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. If we are defeatist, from the moment we're walking on the pitch, then there's only one outcome, and to give us any chance at all, we've got to be positive about the way that we want to approach the game.
Yeah, but yeah, good.
Dale, I know trying to get yesterday out of your mind is just a short period after that, but now you can afford yourself a bit of time to look forward to this occasion now, can't you?
Yeah, obviously now the league fixtures are out of the way this week, and we swiftly move on after last night, and what a game to go into at the weekend.
You've given yourself a little bit of time over the last couple of weeks to sort of let it sink in, and I suppose not just the opposition but the occasion as well.
Not really, probably more due to the schedule. We knew the game was coming, obviously after the Millwall game, but it was hard to obviously focus on a game that was 2 games away rather than focus on what was in hand at the time. And like I say, we're through that period now, and we get to look forward to what will be probably one of the biggest occasions that I've been involved in.
You say that, I mean, you're a bit like Glenn in a way. You sort of work your way through the leagues, built up, you charted your career as well. Will this be like the pinnacle of your career so far, I guess?
I think the final will be if we manage to get a result this week. But yeah, I think I've had quite a lot of success since I've been at this football club. But yeah, I think it will be, be right up there. The occasion, the stadium, and it's what you dreamt about as a young boy, and hopefully we can get the job done.
Did you go there as a youngster, as a fan?
No, I didn't. Obviously played there in the Tottenham game, but I think this weekend will be in particularly different occasion. With it being a massive game for us, and a big game for the fans as well.
What does it say about this football? What does it say about this football club as well in terms of an FA Cup semi-final? Look, we've talked a lot about promotions and league campaigns and success, Premier League football, but what does this mean, do you think, to this football club and the whole area?
I think it's massive. I think the fans have bought into it this year. We've had a good set of fixtures to get to here, but I think we've earned our position. Like I said, I've had quite a bit of success previously, but I think the fans especially will enjoy this weekend more than most.
When the draw was made, what did you think when City came out?
I knew it was going to happen. Look, we made it hard work for ourselves in the last round. No matter what side we pulled out of the draw, it was going to always be a tough game. It's a big game for any club at this level, and when you get to a semi-final, it's going to be tough opposition. We've probably got the best team in the division.
And how do you go about playing a side? You've got such a wealth of talent, even if they make changes.
Yeah, they have. We've done quite well, I think, performance-wise. Against Man City previously. Not too many people pick up results, when they play against them. But I think we take a bit of encouragement what we've done, especially this year at the Etihad as well. And like I said, it will be a tough game, but it's a cup game, and anything that can happen.
When you look at their squad, is there anyone who you particularly sort of look at and that stands out to you as just someone on that top level of playing across the whole of Europe? You've got so many talents, but is there any one particular player that stands out for you? I
think you can look at any position, look at all across their team and their subs, and probably the players who don't even make the 18. They could, most of them could walk into a lot of clubs across European football, and that's a sort of task and a challenge that we've got going into the weekend.
And in terms of you personally, the family, friends on for tickets and everything as well in the build-up?
Yeah, I need a few, like the other players, and it's a special occasion for everybody involved, and ourselves, the club, the fans, and everyone else's family are going to enjoy the occasion as well.
And how important is it to put in a performance that you can be proud of?
It's massively important. It's a one-off chance. You don't really get these opportunities too often. You know, playing at Wembley in such an occasion like it is, and you know, you got to grasp it. You know, it don't come around often, like I say, and you know, no matter what age you be, you know, the young players in the squad, you know, they might not get this opportunity again, and you know, the older ones like myself, you know, it might be the last chance. So, you know, it's important that you don't let it pass you by.
Thank you. Are you prepared to perhaps not see too much of the ball?
Perhaps. I think, you know, that's probably the way many teams have set up against, you know, a team that's such possession based like they are, and they do it so well. So, but I think some of our performances have been good when we've not had the ball. You know, I think it allows us to, you know, sit in and break quickly, and I think that's been one of our strengths.
Do you feel like you've shown enough this season? I know the results haven't particularly gone your way away from home, but have you shown enough for you to think that a result against the top side isn't too far away?
I think we've improved. You know, certainly performance-wise. You know, I think it's always difficult when you play, like say, top 6 sides, especially away from home. I think we've done well at home, but I think we need to improve that if we want to improve ourselves and improve our, you know, position in the league and take that step forward. I think that's, you know, probably an aspect that we do need to improve on.
Because you'll be going into it as such overwhelming underdogs, does that ease any kind of pressure of playing at Wembley?
Not really. I think it just, you know, the pressure comes from within. You know, like I said already, I think the occasion, you know, it's such a one-off occasion, and you know, we take confidence from that. There's a cup game. You know, with what's happened already in a cup competition up to now, and you know, I think we take confidence from that in itself. And you know, like I said, with the performances that we've had against Man City previously, you know, there's no reason why we can't get a result.
I know you mentioned that it will feel different playing at Wembley compared to the Tottenham game. So can you take anything from that game preparation-wise when you're arriving at the stadium? Will being there previously help that?
I think the atmosphere will be different. You know, we'll take a lot of fans. You know, it'll feel more homely in a respect, and you know, we'll take, I don't know, 30,000+ fans, and you know, it won't be so much as an away game, I don't feel. But yeah, as been to the stadium before and felt the surroundings, I think, you know, probably will stand us in good stead as well.
And we know VAR is going to be used, and the replays, if the decision is overturned, will be on the big screens for everybody to see.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that's going to pan out? How will you feel looking up at that big screen?
I think it'll show clarity, if anything. You know, there'll be no grey areas, you know, come the week, and I think it will probably help both teams and, you know, the officials. You know, as no matter what they do with it, as long as they get the, you know, the right outcome, then, you know, I'll support it.
From your experiences of VAR and what you've seen this season, and what are your thoughts on it? Are you in favour of it?
I'm not a huge fan, I'll be honest. But I think, you know, with the games that I've played in, you know, there's not been too much controversy or incidents that's affected us or affected the game that I've played in. So, you know, it's not really affected me too much.
And I mean, getting to a cup final is incentive in itself, but is it in the back of the minds that you could be the side to stop City getting that quadruple?
You know, I don't think that is, you know, it's not the driver for the weekend's game. I think, you know, the ultimate prize is to get into an FA Cup final, you know, regardless of anybody else's position or any achievements that they aspire to. It's, you know, it's solely on what we want to achieve, and you know, let's get into an FA Cup final.
And a big issue over the last few weeks has been racism. We saw an incident in the Juventus game in midweek, and it's raised the issue about players walking off the pitch in protest.
Mm-hmm.
If you were involved in a game and that sort of thing was happening, would you advocate walking off the pitch to make a stand?
I could see why people would. You know, I think we've, you know, as a country, I think we've tried different angles on, you know, on dealing with it. You know, we've not really seen too many players walk off the pitch. I think, you know, if it does continue to happen, I think we probably will see that. You know, I think it'd be a massive statement, and you know, I would respect any player that would do that.